Good evening, good evening. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. So I wanted to get on here because I wanted to talk about some Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. And as a matter of fact, I actually took the time to check out their recent event called Summer Sun Princess 2022. This was actually Saturday, July 9th. So I figured I was all caught up on Stardom and such. So I figured, you know what? This show had an interesting card, and not only that, it had the match between Thunder Rosa and Miyu Yamashita. So I was like, oh, I definitely want to check this out. And I'm still getting more used to Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. I'm starting to remember some of the names of some of the ladies. So, I'm still kind of a newbie when it comes to Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But I have to say, it's actually been very entertaining. Very entertaining. But yeah, let's get into this card. So, first off, we had a singles match between Mocha Miyamoto and Juria Nagano. Now, I remember seeing both of these ladies. I know Mocha Miyamoto, like, a couple of shows back. I just thought it was interesting that both these ladies apparently have a karate background. I mean, I knew Juria Nagano has a karate background. I didn't know Mocha Miyamoto had a karate background. So I was like, oh, I like this. I like this matchup. And they both definitely showcased that. And, I just recently started to like Juria Nagano after her match that she had with Miyu Yamashita, which I thought was pretty cool. But, yeah, this match was cool. This match was cool, seeing both of these ladies showcased. And I believe Juria Nagano, I believe, is also a nurse as well, a certified nurse. I was just like, oh, dang. She's multi-gifted. Hey, I can dig it. Nurse, pro wrestler, karate. Hey, I like it. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty nice match. These two ladies showcasing their karate background. But Mocha Miyamoto actually gets the submission victory. She had kind of an abdominal stretch on Juria Nagano, and it looked like she was close to breaking out of it, but ended up tapping out. I couldn't tell if she tapped out or just the referee stoppage or what. I want to say her other hand tapped out, but it was hard to tell. But the referee called for the bell. But yeah, Mocha Miyamoto with the submission victory to open up Summer Sun Princess. But it was a match I liked. It was definitely a match I liked. But yeah, these two ladies were good. Okay, next up we had a 8-woman tag team match. We had Haruna Neko, Kaya Toribami, Nao Kakuta, and Hyper Misao taking on the likes of the legendary Aja Kong, Yuki Aino, Pam Harajuku, and Raku. I also wanted to note that this is a show that Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, that they have allowed for folks to not only throw streamers again, but to also cheer. So they can clap and verbally cheer now. So that is really good to see them finally lift that restriction. You can throw streamers and you can verbally cheer now. And if I remember correctly, I believe New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, I think before the end of this year, I don't know if it was announced at their press conference, but they're going to be allowing cheering again as well. I don't remember what date it was, but sometime before the end of this year, they're going to allow cheering again. So, it's good to see that. Definitely good to see that. And there was plenty of cheering at this Summer Sun Princess show. And there were streamers for every introduction. So there was never not a single streamer throughout this whole show. So kudos to Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling for that. Anyway, for this match, this match was more silly than I would say action packed. But I mean, I think one thing that stands out to me about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling compared to like Stardom is some of the ring gear, some of the outfits that the ladies wear. Like, you would think isn't good for wrestling in. I mean, Raku pretty much wrestles in a dress. I mean, Haruna Neko, wrestles in like a cat girl type cosplay. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Rika Tatsumi wrestles in like a kind of like a maid slash cook sort of ring gear. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. It's interesting because there's like the flashy, fancy gear that you would think typically you wouldn't see for a wrestling match. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's just it's unique. It's unique because like I would have never imagined something like that. And then again, for a lot of these Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling shows, they usually open the show with like song and dance by some of the wrestlers that are also idols as well. For example, Raku, Miyu Watanabe, and what's the other one? Hikari Noa. So yeah, they can sing, they can dance, and they can wrestle. Hey, triple threat. I don't mind. But this was a pretty silly match. I mean, Hyper Misao doing what she normally does with the silly shenanigans. She had that fancy little trash can or whatever the heck that was put into play. She was scared of Aja Kong, and Aja Kong did her thing as she usually does. Being the big lady of the match. Just dishing out punishment. But this was a silly but entertaining match. I mean, the ladies really did their thing, and Hyper Misao wasn't the only masked wrestler. They had Kaya Toribama, another masked wrestler, in there as well. So it was a very wacky match. A very wacky match, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It was very silly, very silly, if you know what I mean. But it went on for a while, and actually Yuki Aino got the victory for her team, pinning Kaya Toribami after hitting like a falling reverse DDT. So picked up the 1, 2, 3. And Aja Kong felt all sort of girly and just kind of escorted the ladies backstage and whatnot. She looked like she was having a lot of fun in this match. And that's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, that was a pretty entertaining match. This next match was definitely one of my top 3 for this card. This was a singles match. Ryo Mizunami versus Miyu Watanabe. Now, originally, this was supposed to be Willow Nightingale versus Miyu Watanabe, but because of visa issues, travel/visa issues, she wasn't able to make it for the show, so they had to go with a replacement that ended up being in the form of Anaki Ryo Mizunami. Now, I have to say, I definitely enjoyed the fight that Miyu Watanabe brought. And I just think it's very interesting that she's a power wrestler Doesn't really have the look of a power wrestler, but I really like how she showcases her power and even some agility with that. And I was really impressed to see her giant swing Ryo Mizunami. And Ryo Mizunami, she's not a small woman, but she's not a big woman either. I mean, she's not like huge. She's probably maybe similar size to like Emi Sakura, perhaps. But just seeing Miyu Watanabe, giant swinger, I was like, dang, shoot, her giant swing's about as good as Claudio Castagnoli's giant swing. I was like, okay, Miyu, I see you. And honestly, I thought she was gonna pull off the upset and beat Ryo Mizunami. I mean, she really brought her A game in this match, and just her just bringing it, her being able to giant swing Ryo Mizunami just was like, because she took a lot of punishment from her with all those chops, and just Ryo Mizunami going off. But it was a good match that I definitely enjoyed. But Ryo Mizunami did get the victory after hitting sort of like a fireman's carry driver. I don't know the finisher name for it onto Miyu for the 1-2-3. But man, I really wanted Miyu Watanabe to win that because she looked great in this match. She looked really great. But I do hope at some point that Willow Nightingale can get the visa issues resolved and eventually come to Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and wrestle. So hopefully she'll get an opportunity still to do that. Just wasn't able to do it at this show. Okay, next up we had a tag team match. We had the combination of Hikaru Inoue and Hikaru Shida taking on Yuki Kamifuku and Mahiro Kuryu, which I remember seeing a previous show where Hikaru Inoue and Hikaru Shida went up against each other, and of course Shida ended up winning that match. But I guess they've kind of formed a bond since that match because they teamed up. And I was definitely digging Hikaru Shida's ring gear. That was a ring gear I haven't seen before. So looks like Hikaru Shida's keeping some fresh ring gear. Like I'm seeing some new things with her. That's what's up. But yeah, this was a pretty good match. I know that apparently Yuki Kamifuku has a tendency to like poke people in the eyes. So I guess that's kind of her thing. But it was really interesting to see her get a taste of her own medicine during this match, with the eye poke. But this was a good match. This was definitely a good match. I know there was a lot of instances where Yuki Kamifuku would kind of step up to Hikaru Shida, which I mean is understandable. Her and Mahiro Kuryu, but overall, this was a good match, and Hikaru Shida ends up getting the victory for her team, pinning Mahiro Kuryu after hitting sort of a variation of the Dominator. I didn't know if she was going to try to do something different. I mean, normally Hikaru Shida uses the Tamashi or the Falcon Arrow or the Katana, but she kind of did like a variation of the Dominator that Bobby Lashley once used and Farouk / Ron Simmons would use. But it was kind of like a sit-down Dominator. But got the 1-2-3. Hikaru Inoue and Hikaru Shida are your winners. But it was pretty cool. Tag team, Hikaru Inoue and Hikaru Shida. They got some chemistry. I like it. Okay, next up, on my notes, we had another tag team match. Riho, my girl Riho, teamed up with Arisu Endo to take on Suzume and the Red Apple, Mei Saruga, one half of the Best Bros. unfortunately, who are no longer the Asia Tag Team Champions. Her and Bayan Anki. I cannot pronounce his name correctly. Y'all have to help me with that. But him and Chris Brooks were actually on commentary, English commentary for the show. So I thought that was really cool. But anyway, it's another tag team match. And of course, I was definitely pulling for my girl Riho. But, I also like Mei Saruga. And her and Suzume looks like a pretty cohesive tag team. Both very similar in overall demeanor and attitude and spunkiness. And it's fitting. They're a fitting tag team, for sure. Riho sporting sort of some white and black ring attire. So it's good to see Riho, in some different colors lately. I know she usually rocks the white and pink, occasionally the white and blue, and she even wore black, all black, that one time against Yuka Sakazaki. So it's good to see some more different colors from Riho with her ring gear. But overall, this was a pretty fast-paced, high-energy match. Like I said, I love Riho. I've also become quite a fan of Mei Saruga, especially after her high-speed title match against Azumi, which is one of my Match of the Year candidates. But this was definitely back and forth. I was not sure how this was going to go, but this was definitely back and forth between all four of these ladies. And I was kind of surprised with the finish. I did not expect this finish, but hey, I thought it was cool. Suzume hits a ace crusher on Arisu Endo to get the 1-2-3, to get the victory for her and Mei Saruga. And I thought they had like a cute little moment where they were pinching each other's cheeks at the end. But yeah, I just felt like it was kind of sort of an upset. But hey, that's just me. It was a good match. It was definitely a good match. And that's one thing I say about these ladies. Despite some of the interesting ring gear, these ladies can definitely put on good matches. Very, very unique with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But it's a promotion that I've definitely been enjoying since I started watching. So, definitely been enjoying. Okay. Next up, we had our first title match of the card, the International Princess Championship, where the champion Maki Ito, the cutest in the world, defended against Alex Windsor. This was quite an interesting match. The outcome was very, very unexpected. Especially considering Maki Ito was really just going at it with Alex Windsor. But there were times where Alex Windsor was kind of bullying Maki Ito in this match. But definitely saw a lot of good from both of these ladies. It was really, really close near the end. Really close. But surprisingly, after one last middle finger from Maki Ito to Alex Windsor, she pretty much ended up finishing her off and hitting her with her version of the Key Crusher to get the 1-2-3, and we now have a new International Princess champion in the form of Alex Windsor. I mean, she came, she saw, and she dethroned Maki Ito. Which, if I remember correctly, I think it was said that Alex Windsor earned this opportunity back in Pro Wrestling Eve. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know the story behind that, but supposedly that's how she became number one contender for this title. But yeah, she dethroned Maki Ito. Alex Windsor, your new International Princess Champion. Okay. Next up, we had the special singles match where AEW Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa went up against the ace of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, the Pink Striker, Miyu Yamashita. And this was definitely a really good match. But I did not like the finish. I didn't like the finish. But these ladies definitely, we saw lots of strikes from both these ladies. I mean, Miyu doing lots of strikes. And remember, Thunder Rosa has an MMA background, so of course she can bring the strikes as well. But there were a lot of those in this match. And these ladies, I mean, hey, they hit hard. Definitely hit hard. And there was definitely some good build-up to this match. I mean, you know, Thunder Rosa was definitely interested in defending her title against talent outside of AEW anyway. So this was only a matter of time. But these ladies was back and forth. Thunder Rosa had half of the crowd behind her. Miyu Yamashita had half of the crowd behind her. And it was back and forth. Really, really action-packed match. Just did not like the finish. Thunder Rosa got Miyu Yamashita in a small package. Miyu reversed the small package momentum and got the 1-2-3. Would have liked more of a different finish, like skull kick, something like that. I would have wanted a little bit better of a finish. But like that reversal, just that extra momentum to flip the small package yields Miyu Yamashita the victory. And therefore, with her beating Thunder Rosa has agreed to invite Miyu Yamashita to the States, and she gets a free title shot for the AEW Women's World Championship. And let me tell you what, I can't wait to see that match. I can't wait to see that match. Shoo. If you ask me, maybe they book it for All Out or All In. Or maybe they could book it for Full Gear. I don't know how much time Miyu Yamashita would need for booking wise, but hey, I'd say I would love to see her get her title shot before the end of this year. If they can get her back to the States, Miyu Yamashita, I'd say go ahead and get her title shot ready. So here's hoping. But yeah, at least we know that Miyu Yamashita will be granted an AEW Women's World Championship opportunity. It's only a matter of time. Okay. This next match was my second. Well, no, this was actually my favorite match. The main event was my second favorite, and of course, Ryo Mizunami and Miyu Watanabe was actually my third favorite. So, my top three. So, this second match, this co-main event, was the Princess Tag Team Championship. The champions, the Magical Sugar Rabbits of Yuka Sakazaki and Mizuki, took on the team of Saki Akai and Yuki Arai. Now, I've heard a little bit about Yuki Arai. I've heard a lot of folks praise her and say that they really like her. So, I haven't seen a whole lot of her, but got to really see a good amount of her in this match. But these two teams really went at it. It was tough to pick a winner. And, you know, we got to remember the Magical Sugar Rabbits are in their second title reign. And, you know, they've had a pretty long first title reign. Because, I mean, the Magical Sugar Rabbits, they're a tight tag team. Very well known, apparently. But they're a tight tag team. And they know how to win. And they know how to win consistently. And this match definitely pushed them to a whole nother limit. I mean, Saki Akai, I don't know too much about, and Yuki Arai, but these ladies really, really took it to the Magical Sugar Rapids. And sure enough, it ended up paying off. As after a double team pump kick from both Saki Akai and Yuki Arai, Saki pins Mizuki while Yuki Arai keeps Yuka Sakazaki at bay and gets the 1-2-3. And sadly, I was kind of bummed, but sadly the Magical Sugar Rabbits have been dethroned, and we now have new Princess Tag Team Champions in the form of Saki Akai and Yuki Arai. Oh man, but it was a great match. Definitely my favorite on the card. Oh man. It was just really tough. I mean, there were a lot of close calls. Even Yuka Sakazaki sacrificing herself, taking an attack for Mizuki. I mean, Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki are like, I guess they're best friends. Like, I don't know a lot of their history, but I guess they're best friends because these ladies definitely treat each other like best friends. So, just the cohesiveness that they have just really stands out. And all four of these ladies look great in this match. And, you know, it was just a bummer. But, I mean, the Magical Sugar Rabbits were going to eventually be dethroned at some point. So, and yesterday was that day. But congratulations to Saki Akai and Yuki Arai for becoming the new Princess Tag Team Champions. And then we had the main event. This is for the main title, the Princess of Princess Championship. The champion, the big kaiju, Shoko Nakajima, defended against the White Dragon, Rika Tatsumi. Now, Rika Tatsumi actually earned this opportunity back at Cyberfight Festival. This was how she became the #1 contender for this title. A title that apparently she has held before, Rika Tatsumi, to what I've been told. She's held that title before. So yeah. She got her shot against Shoko Nakajima. And it was an excellent match. And I have to say, seeing Rika Tatsumi doing those flying hip attacks, especially the one she did off the top turnbuckle to the outside, I was like, dang. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Yeah, I've never seen that before until last night. Shoko Nakajima with the suicide dive and then doing the somersault senton. I was like, dang, these ladies are bringing it. Both were doing submissions and just a lot of close near falls from both of these ladies. But I tell you, it was definitely main event worthy. These two ladies look great. I can definitely see why Rika Tatsumi was the #1 contender. And I definitely can understand her being a former Princess of Princess champion. Because I tell you, she definitely put on a great match against Shoko Nakajima. And I haven't seen a whole lot of Rika Tatsumi, so I'm still fairly new on her, but she's good. She's good. She's really good. I like her. I definitely like her. But unfortunately, she was not able to capitalize, and the big kaiju reigns supreme as she gets the pin on Rika Tatsumi after a diving senton off the turnbuckle. So the big kaiju retains the Princess of Princess Championship. And this is a title that Shoko Nakajima recently won back in March. She defeated Miyu Yamashita, which I believe at the time Miyu Yamashita was in her third title reign, which I believe she's the only one in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling to have held that title 3 times, the Princess of Princess Championship. Yeah. As a matter of fact, yeah. And it looks like she still holds the record for the longest reign as well at 262 days. So yeah, hey, but that's why she's the ace of Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. But for now, this is the era of the big kaiju, Shoko Nakajima. And AEW was how I got my first taste of Shoko Nakajima. So, definitely good to see more of her. And she's quite a fan favorite. She's quite a fan favorite. Very high energy. Very bubbly personality. I like her. I definitely like her. But yeah. Another big Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling show in the books with Summer Sun Princess 2022. I definitely enjoyed it. Which I have a Wrestle Universe subscription, so I'm trying to get into more Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and also want to get back into Pro Wrestling Noah, but just, man, there's so much to watch. There's so much that I've been watching between WWE, AEW, Stardom, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, trying to get back into Impact Wrestling a little more consistently, but that's been tough. Little by little, trying to get into MLW, which I went to a show when they came to Charlotte. So it's just one of those. There's so much wrestling, Like I haven't even been really keeping up with NWA like I used to. But it's just one of those things. There's just a lot of content and just a lot to keep up with. That's all. You know what I mean? So, because I mean, a lot of my friends, like especially through wrestling discords and even on Twitter, I'm hearing a lot of people say a lot of good things about GCW, which I'll be going to a GCW show this coming August. Sendai Girls, Marvelous. Like, there's a lot that I want to get back into. It's just, there's a lot. There's a whole lot. But, I'm glad I got to enjoy this show. Go and watch this whole show. It was good. It was very entertaining. So, I do hope to watch more Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling as time passes. But, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all like Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling? Those that got a chance to see Summer Sun Princess 2022, what'd you think? What'd you think of the card? What'd you think of the matches? What'd you think of the outcomes? Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. And thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all in the next video. Take care. Peace.